Now we have my other very special friend, Ola Gevorkian, also from the former Soviet Union, also picked up by Soviet coaches as a talented potential tennis player. Solak played on ATP, he represented Armenia in Davis Cup. I met him in his role as a tennis coach in a very affluent neighborhood of New Jersey, Bergen County. He is, I would say, my first coach. He is responsible for my obsession with tennis. There was so much joy in him when he was teaching young kids that I decided to assign my kids to his group. I ended up taking lessons from him. I owe you my happy tennis life. What I want to talk to Solak about is something he experienced with me as his student on the tennis court, and it ties into the recent discussion in the media about players, female players on WTA who make too much noise. I happen to be a player and I never trained at the Bollettieri Academy. I cannot play if I don't make noise on my exhale. I didn't even know that the two of us were famous for the loudest tennis duet. There were some people at our local tennis club that the minute they saw us on the court would be like, we don't want to be next to her. When I became aware of it, I tried to quiet my loud exhale, but it prevented me from even finding the ball with my tennis racket. What is your opinion? You were a player, you are a coach. Isn't it somebody's nature, or I know it's beneficial, but is it, the reason why I'm asking this, Bollettieri Academy is blamed for teaching the pros to scream as a way to distract their opponents. I don't agree with the statement because I happened to film Maria Sharapova during practice, and during intense practice she makes the same noise. I make the same noise even when I'm hitting with a ball machine. What is your opinion?
It's only natural to make a noise. You can't not make a noise when you play tennis. And you don't teach that. And no one teaches at Bollettieri Academy, and especially Nick never teaches that. And it just naturally happens as you start hitting the ball harder, the noise just comes out. Because you can't just tell the player, don't breathe. I mean, it's like way of breathing for them.
Now, my other question, at some point in time when we didn't have famous tennis players from Poland, I got adopted by Armenian fans of Sarkisian, a personal friend of Solak. So I went to many tournaments, many matches during US Open. Sarkis at some point was in the top 50 in the world. And his Armenian friends were very loud supporters. We were wild. And I asked Sarkis once, do you even hear us? His answer was, if I'm in the zone, if I'm concentrating, I don't know anything, but where is the tennis ball? What spin it has? What is your
That's
input?
true.
You shouldn't hear, right?
That's true. I mean, you can hear, but you learn to block it because you're there concentrating, your eyes are on the ball and you're trying to win. So outside noise you can't control. I mean, if an airplane flies, what do? You say don't fly? They fly. But you block it because you concentrate on what you have to do. There's just a way of, finding an excuse, blame someone else other than yourself that, oh, the noise just distracted me and I can't concentrate.
I agree. Nick, this is somewhat a hot topic lately. There are arguments out there that grunting is a problem in the sport. What are your thoughts on the subject?
You know, when we get to grunting, I just spent time with Stacey Allison, who's the head of the WTA of the world. And they brought me up to ask my opinion. First of all, you cannot stop the grunting for professionals or players that have done it for years. No matter what anybody says, that will not work. What they're thinking of doing is starting to apply certain regulations from 14, 11, and 12s and 10s and trying to instill in them the correct way to breathe. If you will hold your breath when you do breathe, you create tension, it saps your energy, and you lose your flexibility. You know, quite often I'm blamed because Monica Seles was one of the first, and Maria Sharapova. But if we look at the tour, and you look at Azarenka and even Nadal and many of the students, grunting is all over the place. But I would like to say one thing. If a player is concentrating on the ball, they should concentrate on the ball. If you look at basketball, right behind the basket, people are yelling, waving flags and everything. But many of the audience feel that is complaining too. So overall, they're going to start working with coaches and federations and organizations to start learning how to breathe without making those grunting or squealing names. But you cannot go to the professionals today and say, that's it.
I agree. I was a grunter in my local club.
Yeah.